Rock and roll, rock and roll, rock and roll. Hey, everybody, welcome to part two of what we missed in wrestling for Wrestlewar 1990. It's the watch along portion of the podcast. We broke it into two parts, primarily one because the Rock and Roll Express Midnight Express match here is very, very long, and two, there is a defend your dissertation portion of this podcast for me as the producer, as I get to defend the Rock and Roll Express for one, but also we're going to get to see my heel turn as well on the Rock and Roll Express, and probably the reason why I started to watch less and less wrestling as we get into a certain year. On the line is Brother Beavis. What's happening, Maine?
Welcome to Wrestlewar 2 Electric Boogaloo, also called How the Producer Faced His Childhood.
Yes. Okay, so again, the archives would tell you that I'm a huge Rock and Roll Express fan. That's not in dispute. But it also will tell you at a certain point, really the reason we started this podcast is there's a certain point that we just stopped watching this stuff. Okay, like it for whatever reason, and there could be varied and many, like we just flat out stopped watching. So we're kind of like looking into this idea of like, all right, well, if we started in 1989, because now we know we didn't watch it then, things are happening and coming up. And I'm like, I don't remember that either. And I drill everything back to the Rock and Roll Express. Okay, so what was going on with the Rock and Roll Express at the time that would have made me either continue watching or stop watching? So I did some research, and before we get to the match, you can load on your Peacock. What's the time code again?
2921. You've asked
2921.
Me
Thank you for
times.
The listeners. For the listeners,
I know. I'm just laughing because I've said that word like 7 times.
Yeah, I understand. Go play that for a number.
2921. Right.
There you go. So before we get to that portion of it, all right. So I pulled up my notes here. Okay, so the title of it, When Did the Producer Stop Watching Wrestling? And it's a timeline, y'all. Okay, so Rock and Roll Express arrive in NWA 1985, right? Ish. Win the tag team titles from the Russians in 1985, like on their first appearance. So you know I was hyped from the beginning because we hated the Russians. Not the Nikita Russians. Like it was Crusher and Ivan Koloff. Okay, good. All right. Hold the titles for almost a year. And lose them to the hold them for like 6 months, win them back from the Midnight Express in Philadelphia in October of 86.
So that's where you would attribute your Rock and Roll Express love to the fact that they were the hot tag, debuted, and immediately defeated the monster heel tag team.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That makes sense.
That was that. The feud with the Midnight is there, so we get the ebb and flow because they lose the titles to them. Obviously, they get screw job finish. Now, the funny thing is, Brother Reeves, okay, little did we know that these ninjas had been wrestling each other for years already.
Yeah.
In some other territory. Like this was all fresh and new to us and definitely to me. So that part is like the funny part to me listening to this podcast now. I'm like, oh yeah, we've been wrestling them since 83. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
And the other thing is like we look back on this like they were feuding for like 5 years. No, it was like 9 months. But they were feuding for 5 years. It was just in 5 different promotions because they basically went through the same storylines whenever they could get a new audience.
Right. Okay, so they win the titles in October of 86, back from the Midnight Express. And I remember that because on Worldwide, they either showed the match or the start of Worldwide was the start of the music, and they came to the ring with the belts. And I remember being super hyped about that.
I kind of remember that too.
Yeah, that sounds because the crowd was going nuts, and then I was going nuts because they had the title. December of 86, they lose the titles to Rick Rude and Manny Fernandez.
That seems so early now that you say it.
Right? Yeah, I was shocked by that too. And I was like, damn, okay. So that happened then. I was like, and that, that they lost the title so quick because they were part of what Paul Jones's army or whatever. Rude had pretty much just gotten there and wasn't going to be there for too much longer. To be honest.
That was after, so Manny Fernandez finally turned on Jimmy Valiant, right?
Correct.
He was his boy for forever.
Ever, yes. So they lose the titles in December of 86. All right, y'all, we're going to take you on a trip here. So in February of 1987, Brother Beavis and I and his dad drive off to the Cincinnati Gardens. And
always got lost.
Yes, always got lost. Couldn't find that exit. And we go off there, and we're going to see a match. The Rock and Roll Express are on the card or whatever, amongst some other matches there. And I couldn't remember. Like I had sent you a message. I was like, was this the one that we went to? But I had to go to my picture archives because I took pictures of that night. Because the Midnight Express had wrestled like Wahoo McDaniel
You
and
have
I can't
picture
remember off the top of my
archives
head right
from
now.
a pre-digital era that are sortable by
I
year?
do.
Wow.
I do. I do. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, more than anything, I just matched up the cards with the pictures.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. And then Jimmy Garvin at wrestled there. I got a picture of him like standing on the ropes with like Precious like behind him, when he was in shape, not the freaking glammed out terrible rock star that he turned into 3 years from now. But yeah, so we have that. This is my heel turn, Brother Beavis.
This is it.
This is the famous Ricky Robert. They
Yeah.
wrestle in a cage match with Rude and Fernandez, and they lose. They get all bloodied up at the end of the match because we had pretty decent seats. Now that you think about it,
Yeah,
we
we
get
were on the floor near the aisle, I think.
yeah, and people are standing up or whatever. But I mean, you could see everything that was happening or whatever. Kind of standard house show stuff. And at the end of the match, it closed the show as well. And we go down there, and they're like, "Hey, Ricky, Robert!" And I'm like yelling at them, trying to get a high five or nothing, and they skipped over the
They were
young black
like
kid, man, which was me at the time.
they were like, "You ain't a
So
teenage girl. We don't want anything to do with
yeah,
you."
exactly. Yeah. So yeah, in today's vernacular, that's when I got woke.
Eh,
So
I don't think that's how that
is that not what it
I
means?
don't think
Don't tell the
that's what that
Republicans.
means. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they turned on me, and so I turned on them, and then I turned against them. So then in April of '87, UWF is sold to Crockett, and I just become a Sting fan. Like that's it. Like, and even though the Rock and Roll Express were still there, I really wasn't paying attention to them all that much. Now I was just like a huge Sting fan. So they win the titles back after Rude leaves in '87, which I don't remember. Like I don't remember them winning the titles back.
I
And
think is that the one where like they did
it was
did
Ivan
what?
Koloff and Manny Fernandez.
Yeah, because Rick Rude was just like, "I'm gonna go make money," like
Yes,
in the WWF. Yeah,
correct.
all
Yep.
right.
So that's '87.
And at that point, was Stan Lane there yet, or was it still Dennis?
No, I'm not sure. Well, it has to have been Stan Lane at this point. It has to be because '87 they're feuding with the Midnights, and it leads to a scaffold match.
Yeah,
I do not remember that at all. Do you remember a scaffold between Midnight and Rock and Roll?
I know that it happened, but nothing like the. I mean, the most famous one for us was the Road Warriors Midnight Express.
Mm.
But yeah,
So
I'm aware that it happened, but by that time it was like, who cares about a scaffold match? It's going to suck. It's just going to be them rolling around or like crawling around, and then somebody's going to take as safe as possible bump as they can, and then it's off we go. So,
yep. So then in January of '88, they are feuding with the Sheep Herders. Nothing again, a greatest tag team of all time since they beat the Rock and Roll Express in the Crockett Cup. But I don't remember that at all. Like nothing. And then they're out of WD like after that. Like they lose like right after that.
So I
Like,
guess
gone, like,
I
at
would
the end of
assume
the
that
month
like
of
when the
January.
Fantastics came over, then they entered into the Midnight Feud, and the Rock and Roll must have been the Sheep Herders. And then what they go to the AWA or Memphis or something after
Yes,
that?
they went to the AWA or something like that. But clearly, I wasn't paying any attention then. So we're into the early part of '88, March of '88. That's Clash of the Champions where Sting and Flair wrestle. I remember that. Like I definitely saw that. Summer of '88, Rock and Roll Express comes back to JCP. Not a clue. Like Rock and Roll Express came back. Summer of '88, Sting feuding with the Road Warriors. You remember that?
I remember the Road Warriors turning heel because they turned on Dusty. That got Dusty fired. And then they weren't there very long. But I remember them trying to turn them heel, and the crowd still cheering for him. So
yes, exactly. So don't remember that at all. And that's it. So I would say summer of '88, I'm out. I don't remember. So right before start of senior year, I am out. I don't remember hardly any of this other stuff. So it definitely is precipitated by them freaking shading me in Cincinnati that night. And then I think my wrestling, obsession, I would call it, just kind of went away.
Yeah. But you recall the Horseman with Barry Windham though, right?
Yeah. Yes. When he turned on Luger and joined the Horsemen.
So
Okay, what's the date
that's
on that?
so at Clash 3, Sting defeated Barry Windham, who had to have been a heel. That
Mm,
was September 88. And then
I,
Flair and Wyndham against the Midnight Express.
mm-mm.
That was December 88.
No, that I vaguely remember when they were kind of teasing the feud between Arn and Tully and the Midnights, and then Arn and Tully left for
Yeah.
WWF. But that's got to be 88 also, and I would say that's probably after the summer too,
Yeah,
or close
because
to it.
because Arn and Tully, they were just getting into the WWF when we started this run from last year.
Right. See, I'm telling you, I was out.
We do
I
need your
mean,
brother here for this
yeah,
because
yeah.
I also have some insight into how Cool Ranch Doritos and
It played a
Blueberry fit
role in
into
this.
this and the McRib. Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm gonna give him one more chance to log on here. Let's see before we get this match started. But does that kind of match up with you? Because
I
if
mean,
I wasn't watching, chances are you weren't either.
well, no, because I remember the Flair Steamboat stuff. So I might have
That's
just been,
89.
yeah, I might have just been watching like a Clash or something. Um, and I think in at this time I would joked about this on the other one, but I was playing D&D I think on Saturdays. So I
Mm,
might have just gone double down on Dungeons and Dragons
right.
and watched the Clash of the Champions when I could. That might have been my wrestling history, because I
Mm,
definitely remember the Flair Steamboat matches, even into the, like, I don't necessarily remember the payoff of
mm,
the Terry Funk feud, but that transition and then Muda as well. So
mm,
I think I might have got like halfway through 89. And
right.
then once was in college, and it for me it was just like either not having cable or just not, again, this is one of those things, like if you don't have people that are into it that you can talk shit about it, it's pointless. But
Yeah.
really that's kind
Yeah.
of true for all sports. So
I definitely hit it because I didn't want to. And by the way, look at all these things that Brother Beavers and I talking about in high school. It's like, oh yeah, I was doing that. Like, there's no girls involved in any of this.
no,
Like, none,
no,
zero.
no,
I mean, there were those thoughts of them, I'm sure, but that it was like, oh, I was spending time, with Shelly, and I just was not watching. No, there was no
no,
Shelly, yeah,
no.
at all. Anywho, all right. So y'all, if you logged in your Peacock, we'll get to 29-21 because we know that number at this particular point. We're gonna watch this match. We'll see if Hotch joins us here momentarily. So as you're loading your Peacock, there is a good pre-interview with Cornette before the match or whatever, and that's fine. But that's it. We're gonna get to that part. And also, well, I'm thinking to myself now, I'm like, well, I think I also remember like, man, not liking the Rock and Roll Express so much when they couldn't use the music when they had to go to Boogie Hoogie Woogie Dance Hall or
Mm-hmm.
whatever bullshit that was. Like I remember like, that don't
Yeah.
sound so good either.
And these are always weird to watch because you I don't know if like they've been edited for the different songs so they don't have to pay the
Yeah.
rights, or if they were
Mm.
actually using it, because I haven't heard a legitimate Black Sabbath Iron Man throughout
Oh
this whole thing.
yeah.
And that was part of the appeal of the Road Warriors too. So now
Yes.
we're watching all these bad blow off matches with no without Black Sabbath involved. I'm like,
Mm.
did I really
Boo.
like really?
I say boo, boo. I say
Boo that man.
yes, exactly. All right, so you pull up your Peacock there. I'm gonna drop into the larger screen here. 29-21. We're gonna have this here on a countdown on a 3, 2, and 1, and there they are. What's up with the Gambit Dusters?
I kind of like those actually.
Really?
I mean,
Okay.
they once they start taking, like, it sort of detracts from all the fringe. Like it's all
Mm,
there, but when the Gambit Duster comes off, and I think this is probably, he might have borrowed that from Magnum
mm. Oh
after the
yeah.
James Boys or whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
then bedazzled it up. So
Mm.
yeah, but that is
Yeah.
not the Ric Flair $20,000 robe for sure.
Okay, so it
Why does it got the snake eye dice on it too?
yeah, yeah. And this is them coming back. So if you based on our timeline, they'd been gone for a bit. This is before the heel turn where Ricky becomes Richard Morton and
Mm,
joins the York Foundation. And then Robert's going to be out of here, I think, in a contract dispute, not for too long either. And there's our podcasting legend, you know. I respect how much he respects the business just listening to it. Like you can tell, I mean, obviously you can tell how much it means to him and what it's turned into. Like I get that part like so much when you watch this, when you see like how people care about it and where it's now, it's just not. Like I mean, you can understand where that would be like, that sucks. Like I get it.
Right. It's like you gave up this level of crowd interaction and be able to get people pissed off so you could get a pop for some gymnastic maneuver. Like some triple Lindy is one of the derogatory terms, but yeah.
Hutch is joining the chat here. Let me jump him in.
And
there
it's
he
crazy
is.
like how
hello.
How so many simple things get such a big reaction. Like
arm bars and arm drags. Yeah. It's the Midnight Express, y'all. Hutch is joining us as we're going through the intros. We're at about 31 seconds here. Do you want to take a pause? We'll take a pause as you pull up.
Sure. I'm getting there.
What is this autograph?
A Donald Trump reference.
That's a Ricky Morton card I saw on eBay that sells for $49.
And you screen capped it?
Yeah, man.
How do we need to pause so you can catch up here? We're at about 31 minutes, almost 32 minutes.
Wrestlewar.
If you had, he'll sign in 10 seconds after we start and fuck up all the timing. You won, sir.
Yes. No, let's pause here. Let's pause here.
Pause the match.
Pause the match. Well, we can't pause the podcast as he loads on here. We can just
do what you got to do. I'll catch up.
I'm at 32:06 in the match.
I'll catch up. Do what you got to do.
Yeah, they're just still doing all the
So
the
shenanigans. We stopped or we played. The whole thing's falling apart.
The whole thing's falling apart.
All right, play it, damn it.
All right, I'm playing.
Okay, where are you at now?
Who knows who's watching now? So
where are you at now, brother?
I'm at 32:10, still hyping the crowd. Cornette's on the apron still, high-fiving, hug coming up. Yep, there it is. Yep.
Okay. When you get to 32:30, let me know.
All right.
What a bunch of
26.
Countdown.
30. That's it. 32:30.
All right. So for the watch along folks now, they are about to lock up. It's Robert Gibson and Stan Lane.
It is mullets all around.
There's mullets everywhere, y'all.
Stan Lane is awesome.
And look at all the flair that no pun intended, that the rock and roll have. Yeah. Again, look, this is their comeback kind of tour. They are also not in great shape. Not bad as the Freebirds, but not great.
Were they ever though? Like this is the shape that they were in. Like Robert always kind of looked like this. Like he's beginning his battle with his hair.
Yeah,
because he's
going to lose. By the way,
full display here.
Yeah, he's going to lose.
He looks like Mo now.
Ricky still got a head.
Ricky looks identical. He's maybe a little more thick, but he looks identical now as he did back then.
Wow.
Yeah. Muscular development is not the calling card of Ricky Morton. Let's just say.
Right.
Listen, the crowd pops for a shoulder tackle.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, oh, okay. You see the dudes I was talking about now in the front row in suits? To the right of the hard cam.
I gotta slow down.
They'll come back to it.
So you're right, Stan Lane is great, but then I have a latter day much appreciation for Dennis Condrey as well. But Stan Lane revitalized a team I never really cared about. I think that was the other thing too, is like part of the downfall of the Rock and Roll Express is Cornette got funny to us, and they were much more entertaining to watch with Stan Lane. So I think that was part of it as well. The drop fist. Look at Stan.
The powder.
Stan rolls out of the ring.
And look at
He's
Cornette
getting fanned.
They were really pumping up this 1-900 hotline too. As you can see the banner in the background there.
Was Sting on there talking or some shit?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. You can leave a great message for Sting.
Did you sign up for one of those?
No. Oh my goodness!
That's a DQ.
But it's not.
Mm-mm.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh.
Oh my god.
the ref spot.
Yes.
Yes, I like Dennis Condrey, but Stan Lane did add something to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I watch him now. I'm like, damn, he's like Arn Jr. Like he was the guy that made everybody look good.
Yeah.
Cornette's still in
he
the
knew.
ring.
Yeah, Cornette's great here.
Yeah,
Cornet. I mean, honestly, now again, he makes fun of goofy wrestling or whatever, and that's fine because this stuff exists here. But you know,
he did it too.
Yes, he did. But I think his defense would be it wasn't done all the time.
Caught in the ropes, swinging blindly.
Right, and this is
he was good on the mic.
A pay-per-view.
And he
it's a pay-per-view.
And he did the pratfalls. He did his own stunts.
The crowd hates him so much.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do, and he deserves it.
Oh, Ricky's in now.
Ricky's in.
Oh, and the crowd.
And again, my favorite of the two. I don't think there's any dispute about that.
We all know you're wasting breath.
This idea of selling like Ricky Morton, where we learn that term later on. Now it's like, oh yeah, that did make sense because he used to get his ass beat in these matches. And we will get a chance to see that here momentarily. Go ahead.
Did you do any research on it? Of course you did. But
of course, you missed that part.
Yeah, right. But I was doing research on Ricky Morton, and like you said, that Ric Flair gave him the belt a couple of times, but he wouldn't take it because he wanted to stay with Mr. Gibson.
Wait, what? Who sold that story? Ricky Morton? Because that
Ricky Morton sold that story.
Well, yeah, okay. So Hutch and we're probably way much or too much insiders ourselves right now. Okay, so wrestlers are the worst people to talk to because they're always trying to put themselves over. So they lie like crazy. So yeah, I think I've heard that story a couple of times too, and the conferring sources would also say that it wasn't true. That was just Ricky putting himself over.
But did you believe when he was feuding with Flair, did you ever did you legitimately ever sit there like, oh, Ricky could win?
No.
Me?
Yes.
Me?
Yes.
You really had to ask that question?
I'm just taking the temperature here.
Listen, sir, I was like, let me go ahead and get my championship replica belt made after Ricky wins it. Because I'm going to be strutting down the street too. No, of course, I thought he was going to win. Of course. Oh, my God. We used the reference of running up and down the steps. That day, I like the big girls. You like the teeny poppers. Man, I was running all over the place when he pinned him in the ring, man. Are you kidding me?
He wore Flair out.
Flair out. Yes, Dusty. He might not make it to New Orleans. Yeah. Oh, come on, man. Yeah.
Remember when he had to wear the face mask because they busted his nose?
Yes, after they rubbed him up. Yeah, I remember that.
Face in the nose. Yeah.
Did you have one of those face masks? Oh.
No. What we're noticing here is one. I think I determined like summer of '88. I pretty much stopped watching wrestling, like not 1989. But also two, we're noticing that we're thinking that these things lasted for a very long time, and it's really like only like a few months here and there. It was like, oh, that was only 9 months of real action, but we thought it was like forever. So that's kind of what we're noticing here. Because if you think about it too, like here, like the actual Horsemen, before Arn and Tully leave, like the original Horsemen, that's a very short run. It's very short. It's only like 2 years. It's like nothing, but it still gets talked about today from the original group.
Maybe the second best group ever, first best group ever.
Who's your other candidate?
NWO. I don't know about that.
Well, I guess if you looked at it from the perspective of the the Four Horsemen had their Paul Romas and their Mongo McMichaels and everybody else. But after the top three, the NWO kind of
Michael Wall Street. Oh, there we go. There's your cheating spot. Cornette pulls the leg. And here we go.
Did you see the test of strength climbs up on him and does it?
Yeah, that was great. Yeah. I mean, I can't look, man. There is nothing really. And that's why people know they are the quintessential classic white meat babyface tag team, man. Like this is the standard. This is it. There is no. They are the standard for that. And during that time, and whether other people came before them or after them or at around the same time, Cornette. So, whether it be your Fantastics or whatever, like, or the Rockers, which are a direct ripoff, like they were all paled in comparison to these dudes. Say what you will about them or whatever, however reason they got over as big as they did.
If they went to the AWA, did they take the Rockers spot, or because
they wrestled the Rockers, which I didn't know.
Yeah.
I did not know that had happened.
Okay.
Reversal. Double backdrop, classic babyface. Double clothesline, classic babyface. Come on, man.
Bobby.
And the crowd is
and
so
on the interview, his voice is way different than his NWA WCW voice.
Who?
Ricky Morton.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I've never. Funky. Yeah, every time I listen to his podcast, I feel he's gonna say the N-word. So I kind of just
chance
don't.
of that, sir.
Yeah, it just seems like it's gonna slip. So I just don't. Yeah, I just can't. Yeah, I generally just avoid.
So you think he was lying about being loyal to Robert Gibson?
Absolutely. There's no.
Well, he probably, if anything, he was loyal to the money they were drawing as the Rock and Roll Express versus the money he would not be drawing after he dropped the belt, which would have probably been less than 90 days after he got it. So
correct.
Yeah, he said something about. Well, the podcast that I watched started off with, it said something about Harley Race and Tommy Rich had some type of plot to keep, to hold the belt between them or something. It was, yes, we'll have to watch it.
Part of that story I heard was like Harley wanted to be the 6-time champ. And so that, like, he dropped it just to get it back so he could have it again.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels definitely like prior to these being under one organization umbrella, there were a lot of shenanigans on who had the belt. And, even somebody might try to beat you in the ring, like legitimately, to try to take the belt from you or whatever. So, yeah, there were some backstage stuff going on there. Yeah, completely shenanigans. You see those dudes in the suits now, Brother Beavis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we are like not even halfway through this match.
No, not even close.
And they've done like a dozen moves.
Yeah.
10 minutes.
And you're going to get a heat spot here coming up. You're going to, because it's just, and I mean, God, Bobby's punches are so good, man. Good Lord. I mean, you can't, that looks like a real punch. And so Ricky has great punches too. Yep. I mean,
we find out now why they all have big hair.
Oh, yeah. Over the top, my gosh.
That was a big bump in
that is a big bump.
1990. Oh,
there's Stan.
A slam. Oh, I believe your career is over if you get body slammed on the mat outside.
Yeah. Yeah. And they will body slam you on top of a moving.
We're gonna get some Stan Lane martial arts here coming up.
Oh yes, yeah, the clan.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Get him back.
Are you sure that y'all cashed out at 88?
I'm saying me for sure.
Yeah, I definitely watched some stuff into 89, but
he said he was playing D&D. He said he was playing D&D. I was out though, obviously not playing D&D. Oh God, that looked like that hurt. That looked like that hurt.
I don't know if the head was supposed to hit first on that.
Selling like Ricky Morton, y'all.
Right.
Yeah, that's great. Oh yeah, that's a good move too. Classic Midnight. Yeah,
Ricky's dead. He's still feeling he's like drooling and everything.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Right in the throat. He's got to be dead now.
Yeah. Yeah. Hutch, we dated my when I turned heel on the Rock and Roll Express. It looked terrible.
When did you ever turn heel on them?
We dated it back. If you missed the history, when they turned on me when we went to Cincinnati, And I tried to classic.
Yeah, they tried to get a high five, and
they tried to get a high five, and they blew me off, both of them. Yep.
Yeah, they
Ricky, Robert.
Is this in Cincinnati or something?
In Cincinnati.
And,
yep.
Yeah, I've only heard this story 1,000 times.
Yes, but that's when I turned heel.
And you didn't turn heel.
Oh, I definitely turned heel. Again, you missed we'll send you the cliff notes, but like UWF gets bought like shortly thereafter, and that's when I just become a Sting fan.
Huh. Yeah, I remember Sting was big for a second in the early days.
1, 2. Is that Nick Patrick?
I think
our
so.
referee? Yeah.
Is Tommy Young still alive?
I think so. He hurt his neck and then he got out, or his neck was hurt. He didn't hurt it. Somebody hurt it for him.
Stan.
That's just something you don't see enough good power slams anymore.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, that was solid. Oh, come on, Ricky. Come on, Ricky.
Almost a tactical error by the Midnight Express.
Mm-hmm.
But they turn it to their advantage like true heels.
Yes.
More offense on the outside.
It does get you hyped up, even 32-3.
Listen, one of the failings of standard wrestling, or traditional wrestling, or at least in AEW, but WWEF too, now is there's no clear lines on who's heels and who's babyface.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like, you can't, am I cheering for these dudes? Am I against them? Like, I have no idea. Oh, Cornette with the shot. Like, at least back then you knew.
It's all personality and no plot.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think in a sense, this is not a breaking news statement, kind of the NWO and Stone Cold kind of broke that. When you made the heels cool, like, it just, there was no really coming back from that, and that was it. Like, I much more identify, Flair has it too, but not as much so, but that's what it is.
When Flair was actually a good guy, when we fighting Nikita Koloff, I like, oof, yeah.
But that worked under those circumstances because it was the Russians. But when he's tried to be babyface just to be babyface, it didn't work because
against Funk.
But he would still work like a heel.
Yeah,
and just get cheered for it. It's so he was a baby faced against a bigger heel.
Net breaker. There's little Willie Abner. Yeah, what's that again? Say rock and roll. Oh. Bobby's really good. God almighty. R.I.P. Damn it. Literally the only R.I.P. in here. Although I'm not 100% sure Nick Patrick is with us either.
I think he is.
Maybe it's Pee Wee Anderson I'm thinking of that's not with us.
Yeah, I think he died.
Oh, that's a great spot.
Oh, that's going back to that damaged face from 1987.
Yeah,
classic feud with
rubbed his face in the ground. My God.
Take off the mask.
Oh my God. You can see it.
You like the little girls?
Yeah, it's classic. That was classic, man. Did I think he was going to win? That okay. Wait a minute. So that was Great American Bash where Flair wrestled a different person in 30 different cities.
That was the stadium tour, right?
That was in the Great American Bash. He
87, I think.
That's 80. See, I'm telling you, 88, bro. And they're not even there in 88. Like summer of 88, they're not even there. Rock and Roll's not there.
Where'd they go?
AWA and Memphis, I think.
Yeah.
Yep, AWA in Memphis. I certainly wasn't watching that. So, yeah, it was Sting or nobody pretty much at this point for me.
Didn't you like Hacksaw and
already in WWF, man?
Well, he was not in 88. He wasn't. He was in 89 since we've been watching again.
Yeah.
But, was he there? I think he was. Well, he might have. Did he actually?
He never made.
No, he never did go.
He never made it.
Yeah, you're right.
He never went to WCW. It was 87 that they bought it.
Yeah.
He never was there. DiBiase was never there either. They only really got Dr. Death.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dr. Death always looks small in the WWF because of the big ass ring. And he didn't get there till late anyway, so.
And that's a big dude, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Look, I mean, look, Ricky knows where the camera is. He's appealing. Help me, 13-year-old girls. And Greg.
Not in that order.
At least that's what I was thinking.
Oh, shoot.
It's terrible.
You were all in, too. The room would be quiet. You'd be, you were doing your mini Hulk ups.
It's real to me, damn it.
Yeah.
You know, then. And it's just wild because, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea what made them appeal to me. I have no idea.
Well, like you said, you saw them win the titles off the Russians, so they had to be the one.
Yep.
Flying elbow. Robert.
Another save. Yep.
Are we going to have the 20 minutes of Robert getting beat up?
Oh, no. Robert comes in, fist of fire, and then Ricky comes back typically to get the pin. Although I don't think
backdrops.
This is an awkward finish, kicks, folks. Coming up.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I think Ricky was late on it. Yeah. Like on the side tackle. Yeah. I mean, again, I can do. I don't even have to defend how, like, whatever. I mean, they're 4-time tag team champions. Like, their resume in that regard speaks for itself. Well, the real NWA tag team champions, not that
they had it more than the Road Warriors.
Yeah. So I don't think there's anything like that. But when you look at it again with old people eyes or whatever, Ricky's really good. Robert is suspect at best. Like when he comes in and fires up here after this tag, like it's just like those punches suck. Yeah. Those drop kicks suck.
His janky one-legged drop kick.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah.
That's so painful.
But it is though. But again,
Ricky Morton was a superstar. He was.
Yeah. And again, in WWEF, he probably would have been split off from him and turned on him and gotten the Shawn Michaels push. But he also would have needed to, do some cardio.
He would need to grow 6 inches and put on 50 pounds of muscle.
Hold on. He's not that much.
I saw one card say 5'11", 229. And then I saw another card that say like 5'9", 198.
Yeah,
that sounds about right.
He's not that much smaller than Shawn Michaels, but Shawn Michaels had like a build.
Shawn Michaels looks taller because he's lean and he has shoulders. So
yes, yeah. I mean, but again, if you get on some good stuff,
yeah,
he would be, he could kind of fake it or whatever. I mean, if they that mid-90s stuff where they put the belt on Shawn Michaels, that could have happened for Ricky Morton. The mullet might have had to go too.
His hair is ridiculous, by the way.
Yeah, it's bad. But look at that gut right there, man. I mean, that is one of the reasons that he was never going to get no championship.
And that's why the Richard Morton era didn't work too well either.
No. Yeah, no. Yeah. It'll be fun to see some of that if we get to that point, just to see Marlena.
I was going to say that there was one good part about the York Foundation.
Yeah, actually two. Yeah, she. You saw her on that. What was the Dark Side of the Ring? She aged okay.
Yeah,
she did not fall apart at all.
About Flair.
Oh, that's a great move by Stan Lane. Again, and you can see how these matches. Rocket launcher, baby.
Oh yeah, the rocket launcher. Wow.
Oh, knees up. They had like 3 different finishers.
Yeah.
Like they have like what, the double goozle, the rocket launcher,
flapjack.
Flapjack, yeah.
Hot tag.
Here we go. Here's hot tag.
Punch.
Terrible punch. Look, stand roll out of the way. Backflip. Oh, a body slam. Drop kick.
Shitty drop kick.
Yep, city punch too.
I think that was his card. Shitty punch,
shitty punch,
drop kick, shitty backdrop. How decent roll up.
Yeah.
That weird figure 4 looking roll up finish.
Oh
thing.
yeah, with the bridge back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang, y'all tearing up Mr. Gibson.
He's
No, we're tearing. Yeah, we are.
Yeah. Yes, you are.
he just took a bracket shot. Oh, I see your boys.
Yes, with the signs.
Suits.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Where is Ricky at this point?
Yeah.
Laying on the ground.
There it is.
Signing autographs. Oh, there.
No. 2, 3. Oh my God.
Yeah, I think Ricky might have been out of position.
When you see it on the replay, you'll see that he's late to get the spear there. Yeah, we're number 1. Yeah.
Boo.
He loves us.
Come on. See, look, he's late. Like Bobby's already looking for him.
Yeah.
He's way late. Yeah.
Yes. Live action fake sports. It happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rocket.
Yeah. All right. We can stop
this
this.
sting.
Yeah.
Our brother in paint. Well,
brother. So really, again,
you were a teenage girl. We understand. Teenage white girl.
That's fair. But again, looking at it, looking back, you could see, and this is not even them at their strength. This is still them, on the downside, I would say, and they're still relatively popular. Yeah, they're still relatively popular, and they're WWF Hall of Famers. Gosh darn it, I'll defend their record or whatever, and probably if you in the right.
Aren't they wrestling Hall of Fame? Then don't they, because he owns everything? Don't they just say wrestling Hall of Fame?
No. Everything gets the WWE brand.
Yes, they got in. I think in like 2017. Cornette inducted them, and that's pretty much it. They still wrestle from time to time. Ricky, I think, has a wrestling school of some sort, and you'll see them pop up on certain things if you scour the internet or whatever. But they're old ass men. They're in their freaking 60s. But they'll still go out and do whatever. They're both going to be at this con in Kentucky here that's coming up, Lexington Comic-Con or whatever. I'm obviously not driving to going to Lexington or whatever, but maybe. Shit, like if they were at a con that was closer to me, I would definitely probably consider it, and just to get the picture just for the sake to say that I had it, like, oh shit, me and Rock and Roll. Like I would do it, but
they might still stand you up.
Well, I mean, no.
We remember you from 1980 something.
Did you get the message in '87, bro?
Yeah, sorry, no nigs. I mean,
What's funny also to see him on the card with the Dynamic Dudes and the Tom Zink and Brian Pillman team.
They're fake.
They're the most over babyface tag team on this card for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they still couldn't replace
other
them.
than the Steiners, I guess.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, we need that. But again, that the Steiners not white meat babyface. Like you can't, get the oh my god, Ricky, please get up. Like they wasn't gonna do that. They were still searching for that. And shit, what's Ricky Morton at this time? What, probably 30?
Yeah,
30.
Yeah, these dudes aren't as old as we think they are sometimes.
Well, you take 60. It got to be at least 62 or 3 now, right?
Yeah, maybe. They ain't. Sadly, our ages are much closer than we thought they would be.
Oh, believe
they're
me.
Parentally they're parentally what we think they are, and then it's like, damn, wait, what?
Wait, how old are we?
Rest in peace, Tom Sizemore. I thought he'd be 65. No, we're 61.
No, yeah, that's bad.
Yeah.
Well, did he die? I know he said he was about to die.
They finally
called it.
They called it.
Okay. But yeah, anyway. So that match, what would you say, Brother Beavis? On this, we've seen 1,000 Midnight and Rock and Roll matches. What would you call that one on a scale of, 5-star Dave Meltzer saying? What would you call it?
Well, as much as the crowd was somewhat into it, this was not a classic. Like you think about them coming out on them Saturday morning shows and just like the playback from the arena, and you can't even like hear anything because they're so insane. So the crowd's not as hot. The finish was botched. Other than that, it was kind of formulaic. A lot of comedy bits from Cornette. So it was I don't know, upper mid card of their wrestling history, I guess. But another just like on the card because they're here, but not for any particular reason. This was just like another chapter of this storied rivalry that they just rolled out because they needed to fill 20 minutes. So.
Right. Yeah, it's a 2-star match for me. That's it. I've seen them have much better matches, like between one another. Much better. So yeah, it's a 2-star match. It's standard. They go through all the bits that Rock and Roll and Midnight go through, and then you get that finish, and it was fine. I have no problem. Hutch, if you had to give it a 5-star rating, what would you give it?
I still remember. I'll give it 2.5, I guess.
But did y'all hate? Did y'all hate Rock and Roll, or did y'all just like hate him because I liked him? Because that is
probably hated him because you liked him.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a double dog ditto.
That's terrible, man. I didn't hate the stuff y'all like.
You went beyond fandom. You were into fanaticism, where I mean, you didn't leave the house with bandanas on your legs.
I did that. I did that when Chachi was doing it, but not when the Rock and Roll Express was doing it. Yeah.
I also think like I don't remember hating the Midnights that much either. Like I was kind of indifferent to them at that time. And so I don't know. That part of the card didn't really interest me.
Which is wild because that's obviously some of the best part of it now, knowing what we know. But like, I'm okay with that part. But yeah, those Saturday night shows, you were just like, all right, you're gonna get a squash match from the Rock for me. You're gonna get a squash match for the Rock and Roll Express. Flair's gonna come out, cut a crazy promo. You see the Road Warriors, clothesline somebody out of their shoes. Like, and I don't know what else happened in the other 2 hours.
Yeah. Fuck. I was more like Dusty and Magnum. I was more interested in that kind of part of it.
I want to see the Road Warriors put somebody out in 10, 15 seconds or whatever. And then, peace out. But I remember you and I guess me, because I was there too, waiting for the announcer to come on. And he would say something about the titles changed hands over the week.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, oh, shit.
So the other part of the Saturday show that you've probably blocked out is all the Paul Jones bullshit. That was like the filler to fluff that out. So.
Yeah. Boogie woogie. But I don't know. Them 2 hours went fairly quickly. It always seemed to me. And I just, there was just certain parts of it that you were looking for. But yeah, the title changed hands. But that was fun. The worldwide thing when they would do it, the title's going to change hands. We're going to tell you who the new champions are, or if it was Rock and Roll, they'd already announced it.
It would come on, and David Crockett would be like, he would be eating shit because he was so happy. He'd be like, we got to bring Cornette out here.
You're right. When they lost, right, here comes Cornette. And we got fucking cheated, or we got whatever.
Yeah.
You got what you deserve. David Crockett is like,
this man
is not going to be happy.
Yeah, and again, that's another person who we shit talk probably fairly regularly. Then now it's just like I get what he was doing. Yeah. Like he was just being that ultra homer dude. Like, and it worked. Like, I mean, it's hard to go back and try to watch those Saturday shows because I've tried. It's hard because there are a bunch of squash matches with a bunch of people you don't care about. It's like, oh damn, Rocky King got his ass beat every fucking week. Oh look, Tony Zane. Oh my god. I mean, they would
South.
And they would beat those dudes for real. Like they would beat them jobbers up, man. Like, I mean, they would really put it to them. And it's like, man, this is really uncomfortable to watch. To watch this monkey get assaulted like this. Now, it was fine then, but now it's kind of awkward. So, yeah, it's wild. Okay, y'all. Brother Beavis, as I'm talking here, what is our next? I think it's WrestleMania, right?
Oh,
I think we're up to WrestleMania. It's WrestleMania season. I'm pretty sure
is this the one?
This is Hogan Warrior.
No.
Pretty sure. WrestleMania 1990. WrestleMania what? 6, 4,
6,
3?
I think.
I think this is it.
WWF 1990.
I'm pretty sure this is it. And
so we watched the Royal Rumble, right?
Yep. And I can tell you off, I've never seen that match between Hogan and Warrior. Never. So unless we watch it on here and I'd already put it out of my mind, I don't think we did.
This is going to be like every other Royal Rumble or every other WrestleMania, like way too many matches and and Hogan and Warrior is 25 minutes.
Good God. They had to be blued up, as they say in the vernacular. Is that WrestleMania 90?
6, yeah. WrestleMania 96.
What's the rundown this card? We know what the main event is.
Rick Martel versus Coco Beware. Demolition.
Blacks are down 1.
Versus the Colossal Connection of Andre the Giant and Haku. Earthquake versus Hercules. Brutus Beefcake versus Mr. Perfect.
There's no way that Perfect loses to Beefcake. No way. Okay, go ahead.
Roddy Piper versus your boy and mine, Bad News Brown. The Hart Foundation versus the Bolsheviks of Nikolai Volkov and Boris Zukov. The Barbarian versus Tito Santana.
Is that the order? How's he so late in the card? Oh my God, that's awful. And I bet they jobbed Tito out in that too. Guaranteed.
Dusty Rhodes versus Randy Savage. The Orient Express versus the Rockers. Jim Duggan versus Dino Bravo. Ted DiBiase versus Jake Roberts. Big Boss Man, apparently face Big Boss Man, versus Akeem.
Oh, they've turned the Twin Towers or whatever.
They were, what were they?
I thought they were the Twin Towers.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I think they were the Twin Towers.
Rick Rude versus Jimmy Snuka. And then your main event, the Ultimate Warrior versus Hogan in a winner-takes-all match for the WWF IC and Heavyweight Championships.
What's that, 15 matches?
15 matches. Well, the dark match was Paul Roma and Brooklyn Brawler. But
yeah, God damn.
14 on air. That sounds like...
It's brutal is what it sounds like.
And so every match is under 10 minutes with the exception of DiBiase and Hogan.
Jake. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I have never seen that match. I know how it ends, obviously. I've never seen it. But
that's a horrible card.
You said all that shit, and I was like, there is not one watch along in there. There's not one. I was like, oh, that would be interesting.
Rick Martel and Coco Beware might be the best match, and it's the shortest.
Make us watch the black fella go down because there's no way that he won.
Well,
no way.
Dusty and Macho probably would be worth watching.
Oh yeah, that sounds good. Then we get to see Sherry. That's fine. But Sapphire's gonna be there too.
That's true.
That's not good.
And Miss Elizabeth.
Damn. Yeah. All right. So we'll wrap this up. We'll come back to wrestle. It's WrestleMania season, so we do really need to get that in before WrestleMania comes up and out.
I might just read the Wikipedia page on this.
Yeah. It is that time of year. No, I would know it if you did. Any of y'all ever been to WrestleMania? I know it was in Atlanta at one point when I lived there.
Just the WrestleMania 2 closed circuit.
Closed circuit with me. Hush, no.
And I swear to goodness, we saw more than one.
I mean in person.
Oh, in person? Hell no.
No, okay.
I only went to that one. I went maybe 2 in my whatever. And
we do have a story with Sandman's brother that he took us to the O'Hara Arena to go see wrestling. I remember Tommy Rich was on the card, but then I think there was some shenanigans at the end of the night where he like left us at the stadium or some shit like that. Like something happened. We got lost. Something happened. Yeah, something bad. It was like, oh shit, we are stranded far from home. So yeah, not a good look. All right. So that'll wrap up, y'all. We'll be back with WrestleMania 6. You ain't watching Coco Beware lose, sir. Not doing that. Okay, I'm not doing it. So as a producer, I'm signing off. Go ahead and sign off, Brother Beavis.
All right. It was fun. Early morning wrestling, just like the old days.
Yeah, so. I know, right? I was missing a bowl of cereal. Hutch, go ahead and sign off.
Peace in Middle East.
All right, y'all. It's Ricky Morton's fan club now. Hutch is in charge of that. Everybody, peace.